James has another question. How is the living method useful for those in long-term recovery, sober and clean from an addiction? So Freedom Beyond Recovery is a recovery program that specifically deals with the addiction to self. It doesn't aim to remedy, addiction, conventional addiction. It can certainly help. I found that in my own experience. But it's not the same as AA or other programs where it's something that you can use if you're, still in active addiction or still, in the muck of addictive patterning. So Freedom Beyond Recovery, the living method, can help deepen the spiritual aspect of conventional recovery, because it's like AA and other programs, it's a spiritual program. So it's based on a similar premise that the remedy of addiction, that tendency to avoid and self-soothe and escape, is based in remembering God, right? To reconnecting with God. That's kind of how it's phrased in AA. And it's similar with the living method, right? It's instead of remembering God as something separate, it's recognizing that there isn't anything else other than God, that there's only spirit, there's only awakeness. And that what was perpetuating the dis-ease, the irritability, restlessness, and discontent of conventional addiction is this core addiction to the belief in being separate, and the pain from the insanity of believing that that could ever be the case. And so Freedom Beyond Recovery and the living method can help address the default tendency in selfishness and self-centeredness, and the ways of functioning in the world that are very much based in the conditioning of believing that we're a self. It can help those dissolve those patterns, and that extends into every area of life, not just conventional addiction recovery. Being a better community member in a recovery group, it in my own experience, it makes a huge difference in being a husband, being a son, being a friend. It radiates and overflows into all areas of human life. So it's looking into the addiction to self is one of the most pragmatic and practical things that we can do if it's available to explore.